they want to divide and conquer. They divide us by countries, by political parties, by races. It's divide, keep us apart, because together we are more powerful. We are incredibly powerful. And there's one thing that all flat earthers have in common. When we look back, we go, how the hell did we ever believe in the heliocentric model? They literally want our loosh energy, this energy that is created when you're lonely, when you're scared. When you live on a ball, you're running out of food, you're running out of water, it's overpopulated, it's polluted, asteroids can take us out at any moment. They have us living in fear, right?
When you look back in hindsight, everything is 2020. In hindsight, we make mistakes, we're learning from it. In hindsight, yesterday and your tomorrow. In hindsight, it's so much clearer now.
What if everything you believed about the world was built on a story? What if you could step outside of that story and look at things in a new light? Today, I'm joined by David Weiss, better known as Flat Earth Dave, a former business professional who left it all to pursue what he believes is the true nature of our world. As the host of the Flat Earth Podcast and creator of the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, David challenges the conventional globe model with historical, scientific, and personal insights. Welcome to the show, Flat Earth Dave. I love it. How are you doing today?
I appreciate this. I love talking to people that are new to the topic. I asked you if you ever looked into this topic before we started recording, and you're like, well, yeah. When I heard about you, I started looking. You just started. You're brand new. You're a newbie. This is awesome. This is the best.
Because everything I've been taught tells me that sometime back in the day, I guess, in order to help shippers and ports and all, just get from one point of the earth to the other point of the earth, they had to dispel the rumor, and I'll use that, you'll correct me, that the earth, or the fallacy that the earth was flat, and that there were demons and dragons and stuff, and they would eat all and kill all of the people in the ships, right? So it seemed as though scientists had proven that the earth is round. And we're going to get into all of that a little bit later. But right now, before we jump into it, this is Hindsight the Podcast. And in the intro, I said that you were a businessman and you left that life, and now you're educating individuals on the flat earth theory, or the flat earth
truth
reality. Truth. There you go.
There you
Let
go.
me not say theory, right? But what did you do prior to taking on this new journey?
Yes.
And then what made you switch? Or what made you, because before this you believed in the globe theory as well.
Like
or
we
that
all
the earth
did.
was
Like
round.
we all did. Belief is the enemy of knowing, right? If I told you I lived in Connecticut, if I told you I live in Connecticut, you're like, okay, now you believe it. Do you know it?
Right.
No, you just believe it because you were told something. When you say that we were all taught, what's the difference between being taught and being told? Not much, unless you check the facts. And have you ever checked the facts on the earth? The answer is no. None of us did. Right? We were told and sold a story of the heliocentric world. And there's one thing that all flat earthers have in common. When we look back, we go, how the hell did we ever believe in the heliocentric model? Before we get too far into this, I'm looking at your podcast description, and the description paragraph says, I'm on a mission to explore and transform power of decisions, focusing on life, career, and relationship journeys. The highest niche is career transition, and I'm passionate about sharing stories that inspire and guide others through pivotal moments in their professional lives. What does flat earth have to do with that? And the answer is everything. It has everything to do with that, because one thing we're all programmed to say is, what difference, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. We're all programmed to say that. When you start saying, well, of course the earth is a globe, boats go over the horizon, seasons, sunsets over the ocean, right? But then when you're shown, hey, there's something you were never shown, something you were never taught how to think about these things properly. You were never taught how perspective really works. You were never taught that there are other answers for things. Like if I said, hey, I have $1 in change, do I have 4 quarters? Do I have 10 dimes? Do I have 20 nickels? Do I have a combination? Do I have 100 pennies? Right? There's more than one answer for the reason, to get to some place. So all of these answers were hidden from you, and you were programmed that the earth is a globe before you can talk. You had your parents probably put a mobile of the planets over your crib. You probably had NASA sheets, right? Sesame Street has NASA on it, has astronauts on there, Walt Disney, right? All of this stuff is programming, right?
Yeah.
Why would they do this? What difference does it make? The shape of the earth doesn't matter. I still have to pay my bills. I still have to support my family. I have to do,
that's fair.
All of these things. But the truth is, they're hiding your true power. They're hiding who you are, where you are, what this place is. What if you had a device, like say the size of a roll of quarters, that could power your house, heat your house, and power your car for the rest of your life, and you never had to renew it? Would that change your life? Damn right it would, right? So, I don't know if you know who Nikola Tesla is. Not Tesla Motors, to Nikola Tesla. We ever thought about him? Do you know about him? Or
I don't know about him, but I went on your site and I was looking at the story. It was more of dispelling who Elon Musk was, and it touched a little bit on Tesla.
Right. Yeah.
So go ahead, educate me.
Real quick. Tesla was, when he was alive, God, don't quote me on the years. I guess early 1900s, mid 1900s, when he died, he in Long Island, New York, he built the Warden Tower for the World's Fair, and he powered the entire World's Fair with wireless free electricity. And J.P. Morgan came around and goes, wait a minute, how are we going to bill people for that? He goes, well, you can't. It's free energy. It comes out of the earth, and it's limitless, and it's clean.
Okay.
And so J.P. Morgan goes, well, my coal mining and train companies and lumber companies and copper wire companies, they're all going to go broke if that's true. And so they literally stole his technology, put him out of business, essentially killed him, and are hiding free energy technology. So what does that have to do with flat Earth? They're hiding free energy. They're hiding more resources. They're hiding who we are. They're hiding that we are at the center of creation. They're hiding that we have the ability to manifest with our minds, right? Look at your life. Everything you have in your life is the way that you think, right? When you focus on negativity, when you focus on, I'm going to be broke my whole life, you're going to live paycheck to paycheck, because that's what you're attracting. Your thoughts are magnetic, right? And they bring that reality to you. They don't want you to understand that this is this isn't just a new agey thing. This is reality. Look at your life. Everyone, good or bad, it's your fault. Okay? I mean, yes, there are circumstances, but we're here having this experience in a soul system, not a soul lure system, a soul system. This is a system built by the Creator for souls to have an experience, right? Interesting. Yeah. And the evil ones, the ones that literally have hijacked our space in this world, are trying to steal your soul. That's why I call it the soul lure system. They're trying to lure your soul away, because that's the most precious substance in the world, thing in the world, are souls. They're eternal beings. That's us. And my personal belief is, our souls are in the sky, in the heavens above. The stars are where our souls reside, and then we come here and we have this physical experience in this. Some people call it a simulation. It's kind of more than a simulation to me. It's a reality, a physical reality, or physical simulation, whatever you want to call it. And we have this experience here, to experience, all sorts of things. So, that's a little opening. Why do I think the Earth is flat? My question to you would be, why do you think the Earth is a globe?
Because they told me. You got shuttles that go out into space, and they send images back, and it looks round. You just said a lot of things.
Yes.
Right. A lot of things that are being hijacked and hidden from us, and stories that we create. We have the power to create our own journeys and destinies. And I think you're going to get to it, but is saying, hey, the Earth is flat, is that an attention getter in order to get people to open up to a dialogue and to have a conversation, a bigger conversation? Because to your point, if the Earth is flat, if the Earth is round, either way, like you said, we got to go to work. Or you said that people will say to you, we got to go to work, we got to pay the bills, we got to do this, right? Doesn't really affect us in any way. But these other things that you're talking about directly affect how we are living our lives. So do you really believe that the earth is flat, or is that just an icebreaker in a sense to get the conversation going?
Interesting question. Never been asked that in that manner before. If you want to get, I wouldn't call saying the earth is flat as an icebreaker. It's literally the way to get your head chopped off by people and to lose friends and family. That's for sure.
Okay.
The earth, I don't believe the earth is flat. I know it's flat. I know it's a level, stationary, non-rotating plane by physics, actual science. They say flat earthers are science deniers. No, we actually use the scientific method. The people that are telling you the earth is a globe just make empty claims and use the word science. The word science isn't science. It's just a word. We actually use the word science. Here we have a balloon, 120,000 feet. There's the sun. It's supposedly 93 million miles away, but it's kind of lighting up this area of the earth and not as much over here. So kind of acting like a local light. Now the earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, right? It's 24,900 miles around. It spins around once a day. So just over 1,000 miles an hour, it's spinning, right? So this balloon was up there for 3.5 hours. It's spinning to the east. It should have landed 3,500 miles out in the ocean, but it didn't. It landed 80 miles east of where it took off. How is that even possible? It's disconnected from the earth. It somehow outran the earth. It has to since it's up in the air, it has to actually go faster than the earth just to keep up with the ground. But it didn't go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So let me just go a little deeper into here. So when you think flat earth and you Google flat earth, you're going to get this. This is from the Flat Earth Society. We're not the Flat Earth Society. That's a disinformation site. They want you to believe that flat earthers think this is the case, right?
Okay.
That is not. It is false model mixed with another false model. The globes in space. Once you understand what that really means, and a flat Earth in space, we're the only flat planet. We're the only pizza planet. That's what people say. Both of these are fake. They're giving you a false binary. Like, hey, you got two wrong choices, and then you think that's it. Your mind gets tired, and you kind of give up, right? So in the heliocentric system, this is what you have to believe. Besides from the Big Bang to get to here, we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, which is faster than the speed of sound. We're orbiting around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Funny number, right? And we're chasing the sun at around 500,000 miles per hour, never to return to where we were before. Okay? And then if you look at other stars, right? They tell us that 80% of the stars in our Milky Way galaxy are binary, which means they're going around each other, right?
Right.
As they're going around. Some of them are trinary, which means there's 3 stars. They're going in crazy motions, right? And but never once have 2 stars changed position due to parallax. Never once have we seen 2 stars change positions. It's like when you're driving down the road, all the trees are changing positions, the close ones and the far ones, right? Never once has it ever happen, right? So let me just bring these speeds to contrast for you. Here's a hypersonic sled track. You can look this up. I don't have sound on here, but the sound is shocking. It's going by at Mach 8.6. That's 8.6 times the speed of sound. You with me?
Hypersonic.
Right?
I'm just writing it down.
Hypersonic sled track, right? And you can't even see it. So it's hard to fathom the speed. Could you fathom twice that speed? Not really, right? Could you fathom 10 times that speed? Because you have to. You have to believe that the Earth is a lumpy rock surrounded by curved water, which doesn't curve. We'll get into that. Surrounded by high-pressure air, adjacent to a vacuum of space, a void of space of no pressure, which breaks all laws of thermodynamics, right? You can't have high pressure without a container. And it's orbiting the sun 10 times faster than this. 10 times. And it's chasing the sun 100 times faster than this. But when we go out into nature, we see stuff like this. Meanwhile, we're doing all of these curved motions. Now, people go, well, when you're on an airplane, you don't notice it because, well, that's because you're flying straight and level. If that airplane turns or changes altitude, you feel it immediately. And curving off your trajectory is acceleration. If you're in a car going 100 miles an hour, fill a dinner plate with water and have that car take the slightest turn. What happens to the water? It's gone, right? Yeah. But we go out in nature and see stuff like this.
But when we look, and so you're talking about objects in space, which let's do the math, and I can't do the math because I'm not prepared to do that right now.
I'll help you.
So it's a bigger area than just driving down the road and making a turn and looking at a glass of water. So how does that, like, that doesn't pass the smell test for me?
Well, because things scale, right? Going 66,000 miles an hour is ridiculous. But when you talk about space being big, they're lying to you about space. There is no space.
There we go.
There is no space, right? And you mentioned rockets going to space. So we're, everyone's loving Elon Musk. So let's look at one of his little test flights. This is Elon Musk's rocket. Now, let me tell you, this doesn't look that big, but you can drive a Mack truck under here. So just get a scale for how big this is, right? You can drive a Mack truck under this thing, right? And this is, in order, from Elon, a test he did. So this little flame, this little gas flame is lifting up this 20-ton rocket, right? And just think, hold on, I'm pausing here for a second. Think of the amount. You ever see when they take like a 747 on the runway and they crank up the engine to drive a truck or a bus behind it, it just goes flying through the air. You've seen that video, right?
Yeah.
Think of the amount of thrust that's coming out here and look at the smoke. How come the smoke, if the smoke isn't affected? Watch, we're going to just cut back again. You'll notice that the smoke, it should just be obliterated for half a mile from all of that thrust, right? So now look, we're edit. We're looking at it from the side. We're still looking at it from the side. So how high could it be going? Now it's up pretty high. This is the onboard. And now look at the speed of the smoke coming out of here. How fast is this thing really going? Doesn't seem that fast. Now it's up pretty high again. And then we cut. Now look, the rockets are off. It's already falling. This thing is now 10 tons empty, and it's free falling. Now look at the speed of the smoke and watch after the next edit. Look at the smoke speed now. Is this thing really falling?
Yeah.
What is this? Right, now watch the next. Now look how high it is. Right, this is in order from Elon. Now look, we're looking at it from the side. How high could it be? How high? Look how high it is all of a sudden. Okay, this is in order. Now watch. 3 engines are going to turn on. It's going to turn upright. The cameraman's going to go underneath it out of an edit. There's the edit. Underneath it. Now watch. 2 of the 3 engines are going to burn out. Ready? 1, 2. And that one little gas flame is going to land it with a whole bunch of CGI smoke right where it needs to. Boom, smoke. And it lands upright. Now, if I didn't tell you, or maybe I was lying, is that an Elon Musk rocket or is that just a B movie, trying to make, which one is it?
Yeah. I don't know.
You would have to go with B movie because
I don't know.
If that was really Elon, then they're faking space. Crazy, right? Right. Listen. Also, by the time we're done with this, your mind is going to be exhausted. You're going to be like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. But here's the thing: I don't want anybody to believe anything I say today. I want to point you to where you can go verify all of this stuff yourself. And then once you understand the true significance of what this means, it'll unplug you from the Matrix, and then you'll be able to see the world just like Neo did in the Matrix.
That was my next comment. I was thinking about the Matrix, and that's what this draws me to believe, right? That there's some sort of Matrix type scenario that is happening to keep us for what? Like, what is the purpose of lying about space? What is the purpose of lying about the Earth being flat? What is, like, from your perspective, obviously, what is the goal that's being achieved by us believing that the universe is humongous and you knowing that the universe or the sky or space is like non-existent?
Sure. Just one other quick thing. Watch the top of this rocket here.
Okay.
It disappears. See it?
Yeah,
it disappears.
Yeah.
Because this one, they do all different types of stuff. Sometimes they're using helium balloon rockets, like the space shuttle was a helium balloon.
Right.
So this is a projected hologram. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
What's going on? This is a live broadcast from SpaceX.
Hey, I remember, I tell you what, I remember a few years ago, because I'm out here in California, and it looked like a freaking we're being attacked by aliens, like the rocket that was flying through the sky.
Yeah.
Here. So is that, do you recall do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
Later on, someone said, oh, that was just a rocket, or that was a test, whatever, from Elon Musk, well, not Elon Musk, but SpaceX. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Synonymous, right? What was that? I mean, and this is where you say you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
So, like, if you look at that, like, they shot a rocket out. It was a test rocket. Like, what's the point? Like, was that fake? Was that real?
All rockets are fake, right? You're not going to like this. Nobody is ever on any of the rockets that they allegedly shoot to space. I know that's a lot to deal with, but when you look at the amount of fakery, I'm going to show you some fakery on the space shuttle, on the space station in a minute. And then you say, okay, if they're faking that, you can unwind it to they're faking everything. Okay. I'm going to show you that they're faking being in space. But I saw the ISS cross the sky. We can get into that too. I've seen it. It's just a light. It's not a ship where people are on it. So if you believe you live on a globe, you're in a prison, in a prison for your mind. There is no more, right? We'll get into what outer space really is, the outer space. Okay? Extraterrestrials. What does terrestrial mean? Terra, land. Extra land. Where could that extra land be on a ball? There can't be extra land on a ball. It has to be in outer space. But on a flat Earth, it could be everywhere. So, by convincing people they live on a globe, you can convince them of anything. You can convince them that they can breathe on their grandma and she'll die. They'll convince you that they want to divide and conquer. They divide us by countries, by political parties, by sports teams, by races, dividing the genders. It's divide, keep us apart, because together we are more powerful. We are incredibly powerful beings. So I want to just tell you, divine law is the law of God. That's the only real law. Common law is the law of the land, and statute law, maritime law is the law of the sea, or man's law. In order to convince man to give up his divine rights and the common rights, you have to convince them that they're not divinely created in a divine world. So if everyone knew that the earth was flat, then everybody would know that there's a creator. And that's where I kind of draw the line. You could figure out your relationship with the creator from there on. Before I found out about flat earth in 2014, I pretty much was an atheist. I just believed in evolution, and I believed in the Big Bang. And, I found out about flat earth, and then I was like, okay, this place is intelligently designed. There's no other option. But if you believe in the Big Bang, you can say God created the Big Bang. Cool. Or it was just a Big Bang. But on the flat earth, there's no option for random chance. There's no option for that. This place was intelligently designed. That's all you need to know. And once you know that, everything in your life changes. Everything in your life changes. So, people say, why would they lie, right? And I went over some of it before, but hiding free energy, hide the creator, hide your spirituality, hide more land, hide more resources, hide scientific knowledge, hide what's in Antarctica, hide that you're at the center of creation, hide that you're special, right? Take your pick.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump back. Hindsight, 2014, you realized that the earth is flat.
Yeah.
How did you realize that? What led you to that belief? What led you to shift?
Good question. So, I was like, I had all the excuses, with boats over the horizon. I've seen it. I've seen boats go over the horizon, and I live on the water. And then I was shown that they're not really going over the horizon. They're going into the horizon, and it's how our eyes see angularly. So right here, there's no boat out here. So as we zoom in, we're zooming in and we're increasing the angular size. And as we increase the angular size, all of a sudden you can see, oh, look, there is a boat there. Okay. I'm not zooming over the curve of the earth. Now, look, my finger cannot hide this boat. If my finger was a little wave, it can't hide that whole boat. But my finger in the foreground can hide the whole boat. And the boat appears to be disappearing from the bottom up. But it's actually just going into the horizon. It's how our eyes work. Now, Glover would say you can't see that boat because it's over the curve. But how did I just zoom it back in? I just zoomed it in because its angular size is beyond the limits of our eyes. But today's consumer optics have gone past their lies.
Okay.
So
I got you.
there's one thing. So Globers. That's it's not a derogatory term, but I kind of say it derogatorily a little bit.
Okay.
They say, oh well, boats go over the horizon, but then they say the Earth is so big you can't see the curve. So you gotta pick one. You gotta pick one. Which one is it? So here's I'm trying to show you a quick thing. So where, oh, there it is. Okay. So the amount of curvature at 3 miles on a globe, the size they tell us, their math, not our math, their math is 6 feet. At 3 miles, there's 6 feet of curvature. That means if you're 6 feet tall, standing at the edge of calm water, no waves.
Okay.
You shouldn't be able to see the surface of the water beyond 3 miles because it's dropped 6 feet already and you can't see over that curve. So you have a physical curve. You can't see my mouth right now because it's behind a physical curve, right?
Yeah.
And if you zoom in, you can't see it, right? But so, and if you're sitting down, it's even closer. It would be like less than 2 miles away because you're lower, right? So here's a guy. I went on a frozen lake. He put his camera 6 inches off the ground. Then he put these 4 lights out here. Okay, and this one is 8 miles, 7, 6, and 5. Now it doesn't seem like far, but according to globe math, this one should be 30 feet below the curve, like my mouth was.
Right.
22 feet, 15 feet, and 9 feet. Now, I'm going to give you the globe answer and then the flat Earth answer. The globe answer is, oh, yes, they are behind the curve, but the atmosphere is refracting the lights up. This one's refracting up just 30 feet, so it stops right at your physical horizon, 22 feet, 15 feet, and 9 feet. And they all just magically stop. They don't refract higher in the sky. They don't refract and stop where they're still below the curve. They literally refract up and appear to be at your eye level. That's the Glober excuse. The flat Earth excuse is, I see them because they're right there. Because I'm looking at them. Because the Earth is flat. Large bodies of water at rest need containment. The water needs containment. At rest, it lies flat. At freezing, it freezes flat. You ever seen a frozen lake with a curve? It's flat. It's flat as flat can be, right? And, at nighttime in the cold, there's no humidity. There's no atmospheric refraction, but we can see this too far. So now, but there are things where sometimes you can't see. So let me show you this one. This is a good one, right? So this is the spot in Illusion, France, where we're looking out 175 miles away is Mount Canigou, and you can't see it because the globe says the top of that mountain should be over a half a mile below the curve. From this elevation where we are in France, you can't see it because the highest point on that mountain range should be below the curve. The sun migrates to the Tropic of Cancer for our northern summer, out to the Tropic of Capricorn for our northern winter. But twice a year, it lines up with the viewers and Mount Canigou for just a couple days, 1 or 2 days, right? And when it lines up and the sun goes beyond it, let me jump forward a little bit. The sun backlights it. There's a mountain. The top of this mountain should be a half a mile below the physical curve if the Earth was a globe. Now, the Glober, I'm going to give you the Glober answer again for this. The Glober answer is, the sun already set. It's refracting up and pretending to set again from your point of view. And the mountain, which is in front of the sun, doesn't have any light on it. It's refracting up and blocking the sunlight. Flat Earth answer is, you're just looking at it. It's right there. Right? The light that bounces off of Mount Canigou is not strong enough to penetrate through 175 miles of the thick atmosphere. But the sun's light is bright enough to push. And therefore, we can see it. There is no excuse for this.
What I can agree on certain things with you is that we complicate and we make up shit along the way. Excuse my French. We make up stuff along the way to kind of justify and to your point, just confound you and confuse you enough that you just forget it. So I can't agree with you on that.
That's called that they confuse your mind when they do a psyop, when there's a big thing on society. They give you, there was one shooter, there was 2 shooters, there was 3 shooters, there was no shooters, there was this guy, there was that guy, and then you just give up. You just give up because your mind gets tired and you don't want to do the work. Hey, if you want to become rich, listen, all your listeners out there, you want to become rich, invent something that makes people lazier, okay? Because that we all want, like if you drop a pencil on the floor right now, you're not going to get up and pick it up. You're going to figure out the easiest way. You might reach over with a ruler and pull it over. You might grab it with your foot. If you're barefoot, you're gonna find your body is looking for the easy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Right?
Not at
like
all.
If you have a family, you got to want to make dinner. You got to go shopping. So you got to think of what you want. You got to go out. You got to draw. You got to put it together. You got to prepare it. You got to cook it. You got to serve it. You got to clean the dishes. That's dinner.
Yeah.
What's easier than that?
Okay.
Fast food.
Yeah.
Just go and pick it up and come back. Throw everything in the garbage. You're done. What's easier than that? DoorDash. Don't even have to leave the couch. It'll just come delivered to you. If you leave the door unlocked and tell the guy to come in, he'll put it right on the table in front of you. You don't have to get up. Multi-billion-dollar businesses because it makes people lazier. So believing is the lazy man's knowing. You can believe whatever the hell you want. It takes no effort. Where do I live? Connecticut? You can believe that, or maybe not. You can want to verify it. You got to go test all things. Just like God says, test all things. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hey, it's funny. So you said no, let me go back. So you switched. How did it change your life? In 2014, what was the immediate change in your life specifically?
It really gave me a mission in life. For me specifically, it gave me a mission. Like I realized that this place is far more interesting. The word bored in flat earthers, the word bored doesn't exist. We're never bored. There's always so much. When you learn about the true nature of this world, the true nature of who we are, what this place is, and what possibilities there are, it'll blow your mind. Right. For example, this is my app called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, which you mentioned. And I'm just going to type in maps here. And I just wanted to touch this, and I'll kind of get back to your answer. What if the world was set up like this, right? Here we are. So here's America, South America, Africa, Australia. What if this ring was Australia? Not Australia. I mean, Antarctica. Okay. And out here is more land in the outer space, extra territory, extraterrestrials from the outer space, just thousands of miles away, which is nothing. It's a day trip on a conventional airplane, right? Yeah. But we're not allowed to explore beyond 60 degrees south, which is long before you even get here. There's no free independent exploration. Yes, you can take a little trip to Antarctica. They'll take you to this little tip right here. They'll show you some penguins and they kick you out. But you're not allowed to go out here. And there's so much information about what's possibly out there. It's mind-blowing, right? And if you start to understand that, like, hey, maybe there is more land. Maybe there's other civilizations. Maybe there's other technology. Maybe they're hiding a lot of stuff from us. And there's a lot of evidence that there is. But again, you don't need to speculate what's beyond 60 degrees south to prove the Earth is flat. We can do that right here in our from our own backyard. So, this is the world. No one's allowed to go beyond this pink line. That's a prison. We're in a prison. But we don't believe we live in a prison because they tell us it's a ball. You take that map and wrap it around a ball, right? Cut out right outside that white line there, and you wrap it around a ball and say, this is it. And you're not allowed to explore this white area. Okay. Then, like, no matter how big the fence is, you put a human in it, they want to go to the other side of the fence, right? Yeah. Right? You put a lion in a quarter acre, he's going to be pissed. 10 acres, he's okay. 500 acres, if he sees the fence, he'll just turn around and go back and do his thing. Put a man in a 50 million acre fenced in area, he wants to go to the other side of the fence. Doesn't matter how big it is, right? So they put an invisible fence up for us, and that's the sphere. That's the globe. And they diluted creation. You want to dilute something, pour it into something bigger. Like you want to dilute a glass of milk, if you pour it in a bathtub, it's a little milky. Pour it in a pool, it's not too bad. Pour it in the ocean, it's gone, right? Yeah. You want to dilute creation? Take God and pour him into infinitely expanding space. They tell us that space is expanding at like 1 billion miles a minute. What's it expanding into? Yeah. What's it expanding into? Yeah. This is pseudoscience, mumbo jumbo nonsense. And then talk about extraterrestrials for a second and coming from outer space. The closest star, they tell us, is 4.5 light years away, which translates to 25 trillion miles. Hey, that doesn't sound that bad. America is 75 trillion in debt. It's only 3 times, 1/3 of that, whatever, right? 25 trillion miles. Do you know how big a trillion is? Have you ever thought about it? How long do you think 1 trillion seconds is? Take a guess, just a wild guess.
1 trillion seconds.
If you guess it within 1 month, I'll give you $100.
Oh, within a month? Hell, I was going to go years. So
okay, if you guess it within 1 year, I'll give you $100.
10 years and 4 months.
4 months, 10 years, 4 months. Very close. 31,000 years. Okay. So let that soak in for a second. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years, right? So we're in a rocket ship together going a mile per second, which is faster than anyone's ever gone. We went for 31,000 years. We are 1/25th of the way to the closest star. So we got to do that 24 more times. And then when we get there, we find out, there's no life on these planets. We got to go to the next one, which is 100 times farther. Okay.
Yeah.
This is called infinite mind space. It just melts your mind. We were never taught to deal with numbers like this.
Yeah.
We were never taught to deal with numbers like this. Are you a cryptocurrency guy at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So just for cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all the cryptocurrency addresses are just these random numbers and letters. Okay. And guess what? They're just random. You can type anything in, right? But if you had all of the supercomputers in the world working at the same time, trying to find one valid address that's out there being used, it would take something like 66 trillion years, which is a number no one could even comprehend, just to randomly find one active address, because that's how big the numbers are. The numbers are so big. It's like, it's worse than saying, I've got a grain of sand, I'm going to hide it somewhere on Earth, and you got to find it. Okay? That's how big these numbers are. And that's how they dilute your mind. That's how they dilute your mind. So,
all right. I love it. So what all does your app do?
So my app, I created the app because when I was talking to people about Flat Earth, I wanted to show them some things, and it's like, I got to find this video, I got to find this meme, and it was a pain. So I created the app just to have myself. I wasn't even going to publish it. And every time I showed it to somebody, they said, that's really cool. And where do I get it? So then I published it for free, and people were downloading it. It was going kind of viral. And then people were like, hey, can you add this? Can you add that? And it started costing me a lot more. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make it a paid app, $3, right? And I started adding all these features. So what does it do? Every day there's a daily video here. I have a 3 Bitcoin challenge. So if you don't know what Bitcoin is, it's $290,000, I think, it's $90,000 a Bitcoin, right? Right now. So I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. But the challenge is, instead of wasting my time, you got to watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks. While you have your breakfast, watch the video, think about it. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the Earth is a globe, send me the proof. But before you do, you have to hit the question mark button, which is right there. And up comes the frequently asked questions. Hey, where does the sun go? What about the edge? What about the ISS? What about eclipses? Maps, all sorts of stuff. And just check here to make sure, what about gravity? All of the videos in here, this will link you to big playlists of videos. All of them are being hidden by Google. You'll never find any of these videos. They will never be searched. If you search, gravity on flat Earth, none of these videos will come up. Seasons is actually proves the Earth is flat. But so it will educate you there. There's a more resources page. All my interviews, including yours, will be right here. There's a book section. If you go to the More Land, it's my favorite section. Kids books, adult books. There's one called The Iron Republic, and it's all, you can find it, audio version of it free on YouTube. I just searched The Iron Republic by The Morgile is the name of the channel, and listen to it. If you're like an audio book person, it'll blow your mind what it does. So there's all sorts of stuff. Kids books are amazing. And there's a biblical section. There's a friend finder, which shows you all the other flat earthers around, and you can message with them, and you could, there's a dating, a matchmaker, right? You can find
Okay,
other
you
people.
got it all on there.
Right?
I love
It's
it.
all there. A meetup
Yeah.
maker. It's got we actually have our own cryptocurrency, which you earn by referring the app to people, and
Okay.
it's pretty cool. There's a homeschool section, tons and tons and tons of stuff. So what does the app do? It teaches you how the Earth moves. The sky is a clock. Wherever the sun is, it's noon, right? And the outer yellow line is the Tropic of Capricorn. The inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. So the sun migrates out for 6 months. On December 21st, it's out here. On December 21st, Australia has their summer because the sun is close to them. It goes directly over them. It's warm. Us in the north, where are you? You're California. Well, us
I'm in
the
California.
north, the sun is farther away. And when it's farther away, it's lower in the sky, and that's our winter. That's why it's really cold in the far north, because the sun, look how far away the sun is from here. But 6 months later, I'll jump forward 6 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where are we? May. So in June, the sun's all the way in here. It goes right over Miami. That's why it's freaking hot in Miami. I'm in Connecticut. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. And the sun is, that's when the sun is the closest. So that's how seasons work. So the sky, the sun keeps track of the hours and the days. It laps the moon once every 28 days. So the moon keeps track of the days of the month. And then the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. Right now, whatever constellation we're in now, going into Pisces, it looks like, I think, the stars lap the sun once a year. So 365 times around, they'll lap the sun. So the sun will drift back through each zodiac.
Okay.
And it's the same. The moon will travel through the zodiacs much faster because the sun laps the moon once every 28 days.
Got it.
That the sky is a perfect clock. In the gravitational heliocentric nonsense model, none of that would ever be possible. Here's the thing. As I said, people say, "Oh, I don't have a degree in this. There's other people with PhDs. They got certificates. I have to defer my God-given common sense to these people that are spewing their memorized, regurgitated nonsense. How do you become a teacher? You memorize and regurgitate exactly what they show you in the textbooks, and then you become a teacher to teach the same thing to the next generation. If I wrote the book of BS and I gave it to 100 people, and 10 of them, they all got tested, and 10 of them got hundreds on the test. They memorized it perfectly. I'll give them certificates saying you have a degree. You can and then you can teach the BS to everybody else. And if anyone ever questions you, you go, "Oh, no, no, no," and you point right up at your degree and go, "I am a degree. Do you have a degree? Do you have a degree?"
Yeah.
And and there you go. There you go.
Wow.
So, go ahead.
Okay.
Good.
In the interest of time.
Yeah.
We talked about the Matrix. There was a reason why there was the lie. They didn't go as far as to say a flat Earth theory, I don't believe. But the reason why Morpheus explained was that they used the human body for a battery to generate power so that they can do the robots and AI and all that. So that was the movie.
Yeah.
So here you said that we're in a prison. We're being lied about science. That's just a word. What? And I think I asked this earlier from one perspective. Now I want to know what their perspective is, whoever they are. Why are they lying, and what are they achieving? And you can say wealth, you can say power, you can say all these things, right? And I get that.
But
it's
a spiritual war.
More? Okay, it's a spiritual war.
It's a spiritual war. They want our energy. And the way you win a spiritual war is you convince people that such a thing doesn't even exist, right?
Yeah.
They're literally after our spiritual energy. They want us living in fear and lack, and they're not allowed to take away our God-given free will unless they tell us, we ignore it, and then we willingly give it to them, right? They're not allowed to take it away from us. They can't put a bear trap in the woods and bury it in leaves. They have to put a sign saying, "Hey, warning, bear trap." They always tell us what they're doing. It's called revelation of the method, which is it's amazing, right? People are like, "Oh, what difference does it make? I'm only one person. I got to go to work on Monday. I can't make a difference." That's not true. That's a psyop. They don't want you to know that one awake person is more powerful than a million sleeping, okay? And when we all come together, we can change everything. So They literally want our louche energy, this energy that is created when you're lonely, when you're scared. When you live on a ball, you're running out of food, you're running out of water, it's overpopulated, it's polluted, asteroids can take us out at any moment, right? They have us living in fear, right? And it gets worse than that, right? I'm going to say something that's going to trigger the heck out of everybody. I'm going to say it right now, okay? If you want to trigger people, there's 3 things that you can't tell them. 1, the earth is flat, triggered. 2, nuclear bombs don't exist. And 3, taxes are voluntary, right? If you say any one of those 3 things, people just lose their minds, okay? On my website, flatearthdave.com, scroll down to the nuclear hoax banner, listen to that information. Don't believe anything, verify everything. And then when you understand that nukes are just a scare tactic, yes, there's big bombs. Yes, big bombs blew up in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But 3 days later, everything was running back in space. The trains were running. The sandwich shops were open. They were selling flowers on the street. 3 days later, okay? Doesn't sound like a nuclear bomb to me, right? Plants, people, and animals have always thrived there, right? Go check that out. Don't believe anything I say. I don't know how many times I have to say that, right? So if you play on their ball field, right? You're born, they commoditize you, they give you a birth certificate, they tell you live on a ball. And so now you're playing on their ball field, you got to play by their ball rules. If the government admitted the earth was flat, created by a creator, they can only make their rules, their laws, that abide by the creator's law, the law of free will and the divine law, but they can't. So they created their own ball field. And if we agree to play on it, then we have to play by their rules. And if we play by their fiat currency, right, it's not about them making money. It's about them controlling us with money, right?
Yeah.
People don't understand how magical this place is. You can go into, like, I can go into my garage and get a jar of seeds that my great-grandmother put in there, 100 years ago. And I can take a seed out and stick it into the dirt, and then water, the most precious substance on earth, will fall from the sky and food will grow out of the ground. Okay?
Yeah.
People don't understand that. People don't understand what this place is, right? And so, when you say who are these people? These are the puppets of the real puppet masters, okay? The Club of Rome, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, Trilateral Commission, Council of Foreign Relations, the United Nations, and the Bilderberg Group, right? These are the people that we see, but they're just the puppets, the real puppet masters. Where are they? I believe they're in lands beyond Antarctica, because all the leaders of the world go to Antarctica on the weirdest times. John Kerry, on election day, 2 elections ago, went to Antarctica, disappears for 3 days, and then comes back.
Yeah.
Right? I think that the real controllers of our world live in the outer lands. That's just my belief.
Okay, I love it. Hey, and this is really interesting, enlightening.
Let me give people a little just a place to go, right? So this is interesting.
Oh.
It's going to trigger the crap out of anybody. So as you look into this, I'm going to give everybody a warning, and you're all going to ignore it and do it anyway. If you start looking into this, you're going to get so excited, you're going to tell your friends, your loved ones, that the earth is flat. Don't do that. Wait until you have the ammo to do it properly. I recommend getting the app. Now, the trolls will show up on your channel before even the other flat earthers show up, going, David's a grifter, he's just trying to sell his app, and it's based on the globe, and it doesn't work. But they'll never offer you a flat earth, a globe proof. And if you look at their channels, they're empty bot channels. They're just empty channels with no globe proofs. I call those the globe proof channels, because there's nothing on them, right?
Okay.
There's nothing on it. These empty channels will show up. Don't believe what I'm saying. Don't believe what they're saying. Go verify everything. Oh, you asked me before what got me to believe. I live on the water. I saw the boats over the horizon, and I went and bought a super zoom camera, got a tripod, went out. It was a perfectly calm, clear, cold day, and I zoomed in on a buoy that was over 10 miles away. At 10 miles away, it should be 66 feet below the curve.
Right. Yeah, you said that.
And
yeah.
I could see it. I could see the surface of the water beyond the buoy.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you start putting that together, the first thing I said is, okay, curvature formula is wrong. Then I'm like, the earth is bigger. But if the earth is bigger, how much bigger is it? We have observations that require the earth to have a radius of over 4 million miles.
Okay.
Right. And they tell us the radius is under 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If the earth was that much bigger, that's a lie that I want to know about, because that means there's more resources, there's more stuff.
Yeah.
So again, flatearthdave.com, Get the app. If you don't want to get the app, fine. Go scroll down and you'll see a big picture of me and it says Crash Course. Click that and there's a list of documentaries that we've made that are fascinating. Okay. You'll love them. They're really good. I recommend everybody watch them. And just start watching those. I guarantee you can't get through the first 3 without becoming a flat earther. So don't do it if you're not ready to have this battle in your life telling your friends that the earth is flat, because you're going to know it and you're going to have to deal with it. So there you go.
All right. I got one last question.
Sure.
What do you find the most challenging when you're engaging with skeptics of the flat earth model? And you seem like, I love your approach, because you're like, look, I'm just telling you this. I'm giving you information. You do with it what you need to do with it.
Right.
You're not pushy. You're just offering your perspective. You're offering your proofs, your insight,
I'm a little pushy. Come on.
Well, you're a good salesperson. I'll give you that. you know what you talk about. You have the graphics. You have the videos. But what is the most challenging for you? Like, have you ever just really just blown up because they're like not believing, or you just want to offer some information? And like, how is your approach?
It's hard not to get triggered sometimes when you have people that just deny. Like you'll dispel something that they just claimed, and then they skip it and they go to the next one. I call that gish galloping, right? And people like Dave, you got to hold their feet to the fire when they say, "What about seasons?" and then you show them how seasons work, and then they gish gallop. You have to make them say, "Now do you understand that seasons only work on a flat Earth?" But they'll never say it. The real diehard globers are the people. There's different types of people. You're a glober by default. You've never looked into it. You believed what you were told. You're a good person, and you've never taken the time to verify it. If you take the time to verify it, you will be a flat earther, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is the Earth flat? It's a topographical plain with hills and valleys. So no, it's not flat. It's level. It's horizontal. It's non-rotating. All of these things are provable. All of the experiments through history looking for axial rotation or curvature have proven the opposite, but they don't teach you that in school, right? And the glober's best, proofs are from people that lived hundreds or thousands of years ago. Nobody today, weird, right? Eratosthenes with his sticks and shadows, but when you look at that, you're like, wow, that doesn't work. That only works on a flat Earth. So, we can go on for hours and hours and hours. I
know.
The app will bring you, the frequently asked questions page will keep you busy for years. Okay. And if you go through it, you'll be able to answer all of your questions, because as you start watching these things, there's one video, and it's on the app. If you go to the web button, which is more resources, and you go to the full length videos, there's great videos there. And one of them is called A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth, 21 Questions. It takes the 21 questions that everyone asks, and it answers them in 3 or 4 minutes each. And it's boom, 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 boom. So it'll bring you down that road super fast.
Yeah.
And again, what difference does it make? It's changed my life. I have more peace in my life, a closer relationship to the Creator. I have more hope. I'm never bored. I understand. There's no problems in my life. There's only situations and solutions. Right? There's only situations and solutions. And, I grew up in, I grew up in Connecticut. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. And I went to college. I went into the corporate world. I had a couple jobs for many years. I wasn't jumping from job to job. And I rose to the top of my industry in the printing industry, the top of the industry in the solar development, commercial solar development industry. And then I started my own company with a couple partners. And I kind of did the American dream. I literally went into corporate America, left corporate America, started my own company, had making tons of money, and all is well. And then I walked away from the entire thing to spread this message, thinking that I looked at the numbers and I was like, I'll have just enough money to cover my monthly bills if I'm lucky. That's where I started. Yeah. But I was like, if I do this, and I didn't do it for the money. I walked away from the money. Away from the money, right?
Okay.
And it's because money, what do you want in life? You want $1 million? No, you don't. What do you mean I don't want $1 million? Of course I want $1 million, right?
I mean, I'd love to have $1 million. If you're asking me,
But that's not what you want.
I want to be secure. I want to be safe. I want to be.
You want to be secure,
free,
safe, free. Right.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you want. And does money help with that? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you focus on, I don't, how the hell am I going to make $1 million? I want $1 million. Basically, you're focusing on, I'll never have $1 million. I'm going to live paycheck to paycheck. That's what the energy you're sending out is. But I want to be free. I want to have free time. I want to help others. I want to expand my mind. I want to get closer to the creator. These are things that you could say. And then if you feel your way into them, the biggest conspiracy in the world is that this system, this universe created from one verse, is conspiring to give you everything you think. You have to be careful on how you think, right? So it's not about money. And I proved that by walking away from the money. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I like things. I like I like to be able to go places when I want to go places. And, if you live that true-hearted lifestyle and follow God's word, which is basically be nice to everybody, help those that need help, and just be a good person. Just basically be a good person. Everything will come to you. It's the bad people that and if you think bad thoughts, you're going to have this journey. Now, I'm not saying it's good or bad. These are experiences. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own experience. Everyone has their struggles. Last thing, and then I'll throw it back to you, and we can wrap it up if you want. You look at every entrepreneur out there that gets somewhere big, and he does a speech, and it says, I thought it was going to be easy, but it wasn't easy. And they tell the story of how they got to where they got and the struggles along the way. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought creating this app was going to be easy. Holy crap. Holy moly cannoli. But the story is fantastic. All of the troubles and triumphs that I've had with it, it's going to make an amazing story. It's going to make an amazing story to tell and inspire others with. So I would never have it any other way, with everything that's going on with it. Area, that's it. Talking to you, Lee Jones.
Yeah, my man. Hey, so I normally at this point would say, how can the listeners connect with you and find out more about your work? But you showed all of that stuff, right?
FlatEarthDave.com. Everything's there.
And there's a lot there. There's a lot there.
I'm actually redoing the website, so it might be changing a little bit, but just FlatEarthDave.com. You can download the app from there. It's on Android and Apple right now. It's going to be on computers, and there's going to be a de-Googled version coming soon. It's just got a little delayed on that, and it's just read the reviews. Read the reviews, except the ones by the trolls. There literally are demons out there that don't want this information going out because let's say your podcast goes viral tomorrow and the whole world watches it, right? All governments in the world will shut down. It'll be over. Because once you unplug from the matrix, you stop feeding the evil system that we're in. And people are like, what do you mean? Don't we have to take out the government? No, you have to ignore the government. Imagine if everyone ignored the government. There would be no government. Who are they? We wouldn't even notice them. They'd be like a flea out in a field. Okay?
That is an interesting thought. That is an interesting thought. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to go off on that tangent, but I will say this has been a great conversation, first of all. And thank you, David, for taking us through a truly eye-opening conversation on how we see the world. And from questioning space exploration to suggesting personal experiments, you've certainly given us a lot to think about. And for everyone tuning in, remember to subscribe to Hindsight the Podcast for more insightful conversations that explore life's pivotal moments. Don't miss a chance to see the world from a new perspective on future episodes. Thank you, David. I appreciate your time.
All right, Lee, thanks.
Hey, thanks for joining me here on Hindsight the Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Jones. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. And while I have you here, why don't you take your mouse, go over and click on that subscribe button. No, not right there. Over to the right. Down, right there. Boom. Thank you. Now, thank you for subscribing to Hindsight the Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Jones.